Good evening, students. I'm again with you, and I'm Zarifova Shakerjan, an English teacher of Urgenç State University. Our today's subject is Integrated Study Skills of Teaching Foreign Languages, and the topic is called Personality Factors in Second Language Acquisition. Let's start our today's lesson. Okay, at first let me introduce you with the personality characteristics in second language acquisition. So they are self-esteem, inhibition, anxiety, risk-taking, and motivation. Let's start with the risk-taking. So here, learners must be willing to gamble a bit, to guess, to try it out with hunches, and take the risk of being wrong. So as you know, risk takers all the time are successful people. So it is not only languages, it is in all spheres. If you are a risk taker, you can achieve more in life. So as you see, risk taking is similar to gambling because you don't know what will happen in the end. So that even if you take risks, it is good because maybe you will lose something, but you will get experience. If you will not a risk taker, you will not do anything. As a result, you cannot take anything, you cannot get anything from life. So it is in learning languages the same. So it is an essential characteristic of successful learning of second language. So as you see, it is one of the most important abilities, skills in second language acquisition. So tell me please, what prevents some learners from taking risks? So I think that it depends on the people's personality. So because as you know, we have like introvert people and we have extrovert people. So that risk takers are in most cases extroverts. So I think and as much you take risks as it's possible to acquire a new skill. So what about the feelings that the students may have during learning a new language? So a bad grade in the course may really influence on students' mood, on their mind, so that they will try to ignore all people, try to ignore the surrounding people. Failing an exam, so also maybe a reason of anxiety. So reproach from the teacher and also a smear from classmates and embarrassment imposed by oneself, And so in these cases, I want to say that students should be self-confident. If you don't have a feeling of self-confidence, you will lose everything. So you should even feel it in a high level. So looking ridiculous, a blank look from a listener, and fear of being enlightened. So many people think that, especially it happens during school times, because it is at school, it is teenagers' time, I can even say. So as it said, it is a fear of being enlightened. Let's continue. So self-esteem is closely related to willingness to take risks. So as you see, as you believe in yourself, your risk-taking abilities will rise, I can say, and you will now see how. So consequences of low risk-taking. So what do you think will be the consequence of unwillingness to take risks? So it is a silent student facilization of errors, and you will see it right now. So in these cases, what can a teacher do? So as you see, teachers should be able to create a comfortable zone for every single student, because as you know, not all students have the same abilities, I mean learning, accepting abilities, yeah, of languages, so that the teacher should observe the class at first, and only after that teacher should provide the learners with handy methods for each of them, and also to experiment with the second language, to allow themselves to take risks without feeling embarrassed. And I think that teachers should explain to their students, feel free, don't be afraid, I'm not going to kill you, I'm not going to eat you, so that you can speak even with mistakes, and it is okay, because if you will speak with mistakes, I will correct you, and next time you will not do the mistake. So that teacher's role here is huge. So what are, as you see, you can attract your students by role playing, by any kind of games. It will help the teacher control the class, and at the same time to collect them together, and also cooperative activities. As you see, it's a group tasks, group work. So in this case, the introvert people also try to be active, and the teacher person here. So linked to age of learner, we know that intuitively that children tend to learn a second language more easily than adults. One explanation lies on the critical age hypothesis. So as I mentioned in our previous lesson, the age also plays an important role in language learning, in second language learning. So when you are a child, you can get easily accept second language, but when you adult, you afraid of doing mistakes. So as a child, people never think that I can do mistake or I can do something else, and people can laugh at me. They will never think about it, and that's why it's much more easier to them to acquire second language. But the adult people think about many things. Unfortunately, they have the feelings of anxiety, they are embarrassed, they are afraid of the surrounding people, yeah. They can laugh at me, or they can don't like my speech or my pronunciation. So it can disturb them to accept the language. Another explanation may lie in their willingness to take risks more than adults. So as you see, the children are in most cases risk takers than the adult people, because they are young. They are less conscious of their ego. So as you see, they control their ego, yeah, and the ego will not control them. But in the adult people, it is vice versa. So you all the time think what others think, and so on. So they can be engaged more easily into role-playing games and other fun tasks, because they are not shy. Do everything, yeah, they can do anything which teacher says. So the adults can be a little bit shy, so that it can be a little bit difficult to them to acquire or to be in touch the class motivation. So as you see, many research and experiments in human learning have shown that motivation is a key to learning in general. So in every sphere, motivation is in the first place, I think, because if you will not have motivation, you cannot achieve anything. So you should have motivation. So inner or outside is up to you. So maybe your friend is your motivation, or maybe your parents, yeah, or maybe you are yourself your motivation. So for example, now if I acquire a language in the future, I can study in London, right? Because of my acquiring a second language, acquiring an English language. So that you should know how to motivate yourself, and only in this case you will be successful in learning languages. Motivation can be instrumental It is a school or career oriented. So as I mentioned, entering the university in London, so it is a instrumental. As you see, it's called instrumental, yeah, because you use your language as an instrument to achieve something. Or it can be integrative, so socially or culturally oriented. So I know many people who really keen on learning languages, and when the term is said like integrative, it means it's oriented to social and cultural life. So here the people may want to travel around the world, so that they need an English language. Okay, not only English language, maybe French, maybe German, it's up to them. So that then instrumental motivation. Now we will see the differences between instrumental motivation and integrative motivation. So instrumental motivation is acquiring a language as a means of attaining instrumental goals, like it is about your getting promotion at work, it helps you in your career, and reading technical materials. As you see, you read technical materials, yeah, you read the theory most. So getting accepted in a program. So you have a certain program, you have a certain structure, and you will follow the structure. And also you will use your translation abilities. And what about the integrative motivation? It's acquiring a language because the person wants to integrate himself into the culture of the second language group and become involved in social interchange with that group. So as you see, when the people want to integrate to another culture, they have an integrative motivation. It is, as I said, because of willing to travel. So as you see, it is claimed that integratively motivated learners are more successful than instrumentally motivated learners, because they want to integrate into culture and they try to cover all the spheres of the language, not only the grammatical structure. Yeah? So as you see, there was a significant study conducted by Gardner and Lambert. So as to their study, so language learners in Canada and in the US and the Philippines reported that learners who are integratively motivated scored higher on proficiency tests in a foreign language. As I mentioned, because they are almost the half natives, yeah, in the country, because as I mentioned, they covered all the spheres of the language. So what about the instrumentally motivated learners? So they are also successful. By the words of Lukmani, he reported that Indian students learning English, instrumental orientation, scored higher on English proficiency tests. And I do believe that it's because of Indian students. As you know, Indian students are in most cases, like, they choose the sphere of programming, yeah. So in this case, like, being instrumentally motivated, it is for them, it's handy for them. And then we have intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. What are the differences between them? There is no apparent in intrinsic motivation, and inner feeling of competence and self-realization are the rewards. So as you see, in intrinsic motivation, you have inner feelings and self-realization. What about the extrinsic motivation? It's a reward is anticipating from outside and beyond the self. So it is about the money, prices. So for example, you learn the language, you are motivated because of money, because of your grades, because of high marks maybe at school. And about positive feedback, because you really want to hear positive feedback about yourself. Oh my God, what a good student, what an intelligent student, and it gives you a motivation. And avoiding punishment. So as you are an extrinsic motivation, you cannot get punishment, yeah? And you don't want to get punishment. And I think that it is the end of our today's lesson. Again, thank you for being with me. Next time we will see